because Heather's like 5'4" or 5'5", so I want her to feel like she can move up farther enough if she wants to. So this will probably be good right here. Welcome back to the community, everybody, and thank you all for being part of it. And I wanted to also say thank you to Zachary. Yes, that young gentleman there. He donated a Samsung S23 Ultra, which was very, very nice of him to do. That was a donation to the channel to upgrade my camera status. So today you're watching it on a 4K, I think 60 frames a second, Samsung S23 Ultra, thanks to Zach. Let me know if the filming looks better. I did the best I could do. This thing's like a pro camera, so there's a lot for me to learn on it. So let me know if it looks better than the previous videos, but regardless, thank you. Okay, let's get started on the custom seat install. I've done one of these before, but I know some of you don't scroll back a year or two prior, so some of you may not seen it, and if you did, please give it a view anyhow. It helps. Smash the like button. Let's go. Make sure you subscribe to VW Trends magazine. I'm really a big supporter of them, and they do support me also. Pop down into the description below and go ahead and subscribe to VW Trends. They do a lot of stuff for us DIYers and things of that nature. All right, so I set a makeshift table up real quick here. So we got our seat ready, we have our tracks ready, our adjustable tracks that come with the seat, and then the bracket to come with it. So it's important to have your stuff set up and ready, and I'm going to show you something at the workbench, what I mean by that. This will help a lot. When you have all your nuts and bolts and everything set up, every tool you need, it makes it go smoother. Now, what I did is I bought a little bit of longer bolts to go through the floor, okay? But the kit does come with the bolts and nuts that hold the tracking to the plate. You'll see what I'm talking about. I'm taking factory parts and utilizing them. I cleaned one up. If you notice, this is what goes underneath the car and holds the chassis to the body, I'm sorry. So I cleaned these up. It'll give an original look kind of underneath. So I got all of my nuts and bolts labeled and set up where they go. So let's go ahead and start messing around. So these are the seat tracks that will go underneath the seat to the bottom of it, okay? So these are going to go like this, which will bolt to the bottom of the seats, but we don't want to put them on yet, okay? And this is what's nice about these. They also have 3 different positions, so I can make the seat higher or lower, and it'll make sense when you see that. So what we're going to do, they will go on like that, but we're going to flip them down for right now, just like this, because we're going to have to bolt this to these. So let's get that done first. And you can do this whole process. It's not that hard. Okay, this will go in like that. A little bit tight, but it'll work. It's really tight. I probably should grind a little off the edge of this so it moves easier. Yeah. It seems like it. Okay. We'll grind a little bit off of that. Let me check the other one. And that one needs... really? All right, come here. As you can see, this one fit in here, but I'm going to grind it. It's real tight. And look what we have here on this side. Nothing is made proper anymore. Not a big deal. I'll get a marker, Marcus. We're going to have to cut this off of here, the edge of it, and then we'll go ahead and rechaste the threads. Give me a second. So this side here, I just need to grind out a little bit. So I'm just going to put an arrow to there so I know I don't have to actually cut it. I'll just grind the edge off. It's just a little bit too long. And this side here is too long. And I was going to bend these slightly out a little, but I don't want to angle them. So I'm going to take a marker and mark it underneath there. Let me take a peek and see. Okay. All right. Let me cut that off a minute. All right. So I just clamped it to the end of my table. Now make sure to put safety protection on. Dust mask never hurts because of shavings, and put safety glasses on. All right, let's cut that little edge off of here. And you can see I made my mark. Don't touch that, it's hot. All right, let me take this little piece off of here. It still shouldn't be a little hot. I'm gonna have to, let me get a file and clean that up. I'll grind that in first too. So the end that I pointed the arrow to, mark them how you want. I just need to grind this a little wee bit and then I'll retap it. Let me see if it fits. So let's check this before we go any further. Okay, that fits much better where I ground that. And that fits good there too. All right, let's retap our threads. All right, I just want to take the edge off of this. Put a little bit of cutting oil, just a little bit for what we're doing here if you do have to do this on the threads. Just basically rechasing them because you grinded the edge or cut the edge off, you know. This is an 8 by 1.25. I don't know if yours would be the same, but if you buy the same setup, it's going to be. There we go. And that came out because I got a Harbor Freight one. It's not as high quality. The tap and die set, that is. All right. Oh, that was fun. That went right in. Okay. All right, let's test something 1 second here. These are the bolts that's going to go in there. So let me just put one in just to make sure that's okay. Yep. All right. Good deal. So now we are going to go ahead, start putting this together. Let me get some bolts. These bolts came with the kit. You have a lock washer, and then you have a really thick flat washer. So you got to try to line that up. Now this here, if you notice, this is going to move the seat left to right, and if you want to adjust it higher or lower. And that's only one adjustment for the height. There's 2 different ways to do it. And I'll show you that shortly. I love this setup. And you can actually weld the brackets to the floor. You do this all at your own risk. I'm just showing you what I do. You do what you want. Okay. I'm going to kind of center that. That's what I'm going to do. Whoop. I don't like where that went. All right, I want that centered. Now remember, if you're not centered on them or high or low, it's fully adjustable. So it's not a big deal if you have to pull them back off and readjust. Now, just so you can make sense of what's going on, we're not doing it yet, but that will bolt to there. And there's your lever to move the seat forward and back, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Now here is the brackets that I got from Summit Racing, or you can get them from Jags. Actually, there's a link in the description below. They sell black ones from Jegs. I'm sorry, Amazon. Go down in the description if you want to get these brackets in black, because I'm going to have to paint mine now. Now, these brackets can be used different ways. They can be set up like that, okay, or like this, which is what we're going to do. Now, the nice thing about these, though, too, is you can set your seat at different heights, or you can tilt the seat, you know, whatever way you want to do it. So let's go ahead and assemble these next. So let me set this one aside first. Here's our bolt and nuts for these. And I forgot lock washers. All right, I won't need lock washers, and these are locking nuts. So I don't want my seat sitting up high. I want them low, and I'll show you in the end how it looks. But I'm going to move them to where they're all the way down. This will all make sense when you see it in the end. So just hang tight. I'll put it right in the middle. Let me get the nut started. And remember, you can readjust them to a different height if you need to. It's not a big deal. All right. Let me tighten these up real quick. Woo! This ratchet is strong. These Milwaukees are something. Come on. It's a matter of time before I catch my fingers. So as you can see, I have them adjusted all the way down flush. I just chose to put the bolts in the center holes, which changes nothing. So let me do the other one, and then we'll go ahead and put them on the, we'll mock them up. I'll show you what I mean. All right, just so you understand what's going on again. This will bolt to the seat, okay? Now, we've got to go ahead and get these brackets on here and see where they go, because that's what's going to hold it down to the car. These will look good once they're all painted black. Now, this is temporary. I'm just using vice grips to hold them in place. And then we'll adjust them while they're in the car to where they need to be. You can even, if you have a bunch of these little clamps, you can use them. But for right now, I'm just clamping these on. Okay, so we're going to set it in the car now, and then we can adjust these to where we want, and then we're going to draw our holes. Now, the goal I'm after here is I want to bolt to this area up here, not down in here. So I want to set it up to where I can do that, and also you can weld them to it if you would like to. I'm bolting them for right now. Here I come. Okay. And I'll make sure I bring the camera over for better filming in a minute. So what I'm going to do now is release each clamp and move these out. So let's start over here. Okay. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. Going to adjust the back one over. All right. There we go. That one's over far enough. I need this back one over just a hair. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to move the camera a minute and I'll show you what I did. However, you want the L-shaped part of the bracket on these ledges, if you see what I mean. You want them to sit right on there, and you're going to weld or bolt down. I honestly think they need welded, but I'm doing a video on bolting them in today for now. So that should make sense to you. That way you can clamp each one and put it where you need it to be. But they're up on the ledges. And I'll move it forward and show you what I mean. You want them on here and right there, up on the ledges, okay? So now what we need to do is we have to bolt this bar to these tracks. Let me flip it over. So now what we got to do is drill holes through here because we want these bolted to these. So let's go ahead, mark, and do that. Now, just in case something stupid would happen, I am going to take my marker and make lines right here. That way, if these would, whoops, shift off of here somehow, they'll be marked where I can put them right back in the same position. That way I don't have to keep getting in the car and messing around. Okay. What I am going to do, I'm going to take a punch and make notches, because if not, the drill bit's going to run all over the place. So we are on the floor. We got our punch and our hammer. And the reason I put this on wood is I was on the runners, technically, the sliders. I didn't want to break the handle or anything. So let's take center punch. That way the drill don't run around on me. There we go. The punch broke. Okay, got another one. Just want to make sure, because if not, the drill bit just runs all over the place. These are the bolts that we'll be going through to hold them to the rails. Now, I don't want to put the drill bit through that's this large because it's harder to get started. So I'm going to run a smaller drill bit first, and then we'll upsize. So I don't know if that made any sense. And let me just check something here. Come on. Okay, so you got the idea. I'm going to drill the other ones out, and then when we get ready to put the bolts in, I'll be right back. Give me 2 seconds so I don't bore you. All right. What a pain in the butt. This here is like cold rolled steel. It was hard to drill through, but got that through. So we're going to take, well, wait, I want to put it this way. Our bolts that we keep dropping. Make sure you put a lock washer on and a nut. Get it on there. Okay. All right, I'll go ahead and speed the film up a minute here. Hang tight. Okay, we are going to go ahead and tighten these up. Alrighty, so hopefully you see what's going on here, because when we're done, this will end up bolted to here. But we got to paint all this black, but we're mocking everything up now and drilling the holes that we need. All right, I'm going to pop the sliders off and bolt them to there. You'll see there's a reason I'm doing it in the order I'm doing it. So we have our tracks off. Now we're going to go ahead and bolt them to the seat. Let me get the right bolts for that. You know what? I better check. I knew it. I can see paint inside the threads. So Let me run a tap through there real quick. A lot of times they paint these parts and they don't tape off the threaded holes, but not a real big deal. I'm just running it through there to clean the paint out of the threads, that's all. I might as well check the other ones while I'm at it. But that's the way it goes with stuff, not a big deal. And let me see now. Yep, real smooth. All right, let me tap the other couple out. So let's start the bottom one first. I tapped all the threads. Well, chased them, whatever you want to call it. I don't want it too tight because I got to move this one around. All right, I got to push this down so we can see the other hole right there. I got to blow that off with a blowgun and grease the tracks, but I'm not doing that right this second. I mean, we gotta loosen this up a second. This hole is not lined up with the bracket. They didn't. Let me see. Nope, the hole was off a little bit on the slider. Yep, don't want to mess the threads up. Are you kidding me? Why everything I go to do? The hole's off on this one. And these aren't actually slotted. Let me see if I can loosen that a little to make a difference, but I don't think so. The hole is not slotted enough, so I'm going to take a file to that, a rat tail file, and open it up down that way a little bit. So I went ahead and got a rat tail file, slotted that a little, and then the bolt fit. I'm going to have to blow all this out when I'm done. I'll do that off camera. And I want to grease these tracks up so they move very easily. They have a little bit of white lith grease, looks like, on there. But let's do the other side real quick and get ready to put it in the car. All right. Hopefully this one's not needing slotted, but if it does, I'll do it real quick. Come on. Can't believe, I mean, these are really good quality seats, but they could have cleaned the threads up and stuff. Okay. And well, looks like that one's okay. I guess it can happen. I'll show you something I'm going to do to this seat so there isn't a problem later. Give me 1 second to tighten this in. Come on. There we go. I'm going to go over these and retighten them all and use some Loctite, but not this second while I'm filming. There we go. Something that I seen here that I'm not fond of is, see the metal here? It's a metal rail underneath here. Now this is very soft vinyl. It almost feels like leather. What I'm going to do when I'm completely done, I won't film that for you. I'm going to take this down to Heather and I'm going to have her get inside of here and put foam in there so the metal rod's not against there. I don't know if that made sense. Let me move this up. And this down a little bit, trying to even them out a little bit. We are going to put these in there. Okay, let's get this one started here. Just tap it very easy. I got it on the highest setting right now. We can always lower it. Not hard to do. Okay, down the bottom. And remember, I'm in the stage of mocking it up because I got to paint all this black. But I'll take it back apart off camera. It's not a real big deal. Make sure they're lined up or I'll cross thread. We don't want to tighten any of these until we're in place. All right. This is, let me see here. Lots of shuffling around back and forth with some of these brackets until you get them where you need them to be. Okay, one more. Yeah, it stinks when you gotta put something all together, mock it up, drill the holes, bolt it, take it back apart to paint. But I don't want to scratch the paint up, so I'm mocking up first. You don't have to be super tight right now, since we're just mocking up. Okay, we are going to set it in the car and mark our holes. Now, something I do got to do is, this is the passenger side, okay? But if you see me writing drivers on here, this is pointed towards the driver's side. I want to mark these brackets because when I take them back off to drill, I need to know which bracket goes where. So, all right, driver's side, and then this would be front, and that will be pointed to the rear, and then we'll know where to make our marks at. Now, do not take your door off like I'm going to do, but I'm filming, and I don't have the space to get the camera and tripod around, so I'm popping the door off real fast. You don't do that. You don't have to. Well, I guess unless you're filming. I made it easy. All right, let me set this in here, and then I'll bring you over here. Ooh, nice. Okay, let's see where we want to put them. That's what I get for rushing. I had to adjust the tracks to where the seat is all the way up. So that way I know where to put the holes. Give me 1 second. It'll make sense when I get you up close. Because Heather's like 5'4" or 5'5", so I want her to feel like she can move up farther enough if she wants to. So this will probably be good right here. So I'm going to mark it on the floor and then mark my holes to drill. And that way she can slide it back too. All right. Oh, all right. So I got the seat slid up all the way. I'm going to mark a black mark with the Sharpie of where I'm going to drill the hole. That would be the mounting hole. Let me look over here. Okay. I don't think I can reach the front. Well, maybe I can. Okay, give me a second. All right, I'm going to sneak down through here and mark my hole here. Now, when you do this, you're going to mark the brackets so you know where to line them back up yet. I'll show you what I mean when I pull the seat out. Now, you could see where I pulled the seat out. You can see the mark. There's one there. One there. And one there. That way you know where the tracks sit. So let's drill those holes out. So we have our marks here. That way we can drill our holes down through. And what I'm going to do to make it easy is just pop these 2 bolts. I can drill the holes, put them back on, and we're going to drill through the floor. So now you see why I marked these plates, driver side, passenger side, like I did. Okay. And we have the driver's side of the seat, forward and rearward, and there's our marks. So let me punch holes in them real quick. This might seem a little tedious to you, but if you've ever built like motorcycles or anything, then this should make sense. Now, we got to put it where you're mocking it up, what I was trying to say, because you end up mocking everything up and then taking it all back apart to paint everything. There's the rear, there's the front. We'll go ahead and put this side back on. Now I'm going to pop the other side off. I'll be right back in a second. I'm going to drill the 2 holes on the marks here. We need to put the seat in place in there. We're going to mark these holes on the floor and then drill them out, and then I'll show you what we're doing underneath to secure them. I almost forgot. We got to put our little piece of wire on. It's actually pretty strong, and it's going to hook to this hole here and that hole here so we can adjust the seat. So let me first, it's a little bit of a pain to get in there. There we go. And like that. I'll bring you up close. So you hook it in here and then here, or there's an adjustment up here, another hole. I'm going to squeeze this together. I hope my head's not in your way. And that way, see how that works? You make sure they come all the way out of the holes that they seat into to lock it. So if you have to adjust, you can pull this further and make this tighter. All right, let's set this in place. These are nice. They even have a map pocket in the back. I just like sitting low as I can and back instead of up against the windshield. Okay, so now when you're putting the seat back in, you see where we are. Make sure to line those brackets up. Let me try to get you down in there with your mark. Okay, and you can see it better over there. Once you line back up with your mark, you know where the seat is. You know where the seat is all the way up. And we did it at the front. So now what we got to do is where the holes are, we just got to mark with a Sharpie in the holes. You can only see the one right now. And then we'll draw holes on the floor. We're almost done. All right, we marked our holes right through the brackets. So you see where your holes are. And we're going to drill those. Now, before you drill your holes, even though you have them marked, look underneath. Maybe the last owner ran a fuel line or a brake line or something crazy, so look before drilling. That's weird. All right, so we got our 4 holes drilled. And we're going to go ahead. Here it is. Couldn't find it. We're going to set the seat down on, bolt it. I'm going to show you how I'm bolting it and go over quite a few things, so do not leave. I think I'm getting tired of lifting the seat. Oh. All right, let's line up. Okay. Pain in the butt. Okay, I removed the bolts from the front and the back. The other side went easier. All right. Come here. Now it'll be easier to put the bolts in. Much easier without the seat in the way. So let's do that. Bolt and flat pusher. There we go. Because I didn't put the bolts in the way I wanted, and I should have. So now we have the bolts sitting inside. This was a pain in the butt, but it's worth it. Let's go underneath, put the nuts on. So we are underneath the car, and like I said, if you see these here, it holds the body down to the chassis. I'm going to use them on the bolts. However, I'm not going to do this today, but you might want to get some flat stock, whatever you want to call it, okay? And you're going to put a piece across with the bolt holes up on, and you want to weld this all the way around to the floor so it can't pull up through in the event if something goes wrong. Right now, to get my adjustments and everything I want, I'm just going to run my bolts right now with this. So I'm going to reach up inside and hold this. Get my flat washer and lock washer and nut ready. Almost done here, and then we can sit in it. I'll tell you how tall I am and how far back my legs are, stuff like that. I'm trying to grab the bolt. There we go. Okay, let me get a ratchet on it up there. Oh, goody. Let me get a deep well. Oh, man. Tired of getting up. All right. If you have to get up and down a lot for tools that you keep forgetting, say I do too in the comments. All right. All right. I'm not worried about these being straight right now because I got to take this all back out so I can paint it so it looks pretty. Okay, let me just pop one more on so we can move the seat front and back. Make sure you use grade 8 bolts. If you weld some plating under here, it definitely will make a huge difference. But you do it your way. I'm not responsible for what you do to your car. All right. Come on, get off there. Now, obviously, you want these straight up and back, but I'm not worried about that right now. I'm going to put one more in while I'm shuffling it all around. All right, 3's good enough for right now. So the track's bolted down. The ends of it, I have to bolt to here. Give me 1 second. I'll bolt it up, and then we're going to check it out. All right, so we put our bolts back in, as you can see, and then on the back also. Okay, there's a cover that goes over this. It's in my cabinet. All right, this would be Heather sitting up front because she's like 5'4" or 5'5". Oh, so for her she's probably perfect with this. I'm 6'3". I'm not a giant, but I'm 6'3", so this gives you an idea. So we're gonna go back, and I can stretch my legs all the way out. This is nice. I have it adjusted a little on the higher side, so I think I am gonna lower it when I take the pieces back out to paint them black. I just had to mock everything up first. Once I do that, I think I am going to lower it a little bit more. I like sitting low. It's just how I like to sit. So, but at least I'm not up against the windshield. They're very soft. They do recline back. They have a map pocket in the back. These are really nice seats. They're very comfortable. I'll go ahead and grease the tracks up, but these are nice. Just buy them. These are Scat Pro cars. I'll put a link in the description. Many different places sell them. I'll see if Amazon has them. They're very nice. The vinyl is very soft, so I think if you use leather treatment and you take good care of them, they're probably going to last you a very long time. So what I'll do off video, there's no point in it, is I am going to lower the seats a little bit more on the brackets, but I got to take them back off anyhow to spray them all black. So, whew. A little bit of fighting with it, but not horrible. And I want to weld plates across the floor underneath so they can't pull through. Remember, it's your responsibility for what you do to your car, not mine. All right, so that absolutely was worth it. I know it's a little bit of aggravation, but to be quite honest with you, it's worth it. These seats are nice. You can sit low, high, recline, move them all the way back so your legs stretch out. Be careful, make sure you weld. I'm just temporarily bolting everything in place while I'm mocking it up, so make sure you weld stuff in properly. Thank you for being here. I'll see you Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern for the live chat, and also we're probably switching back to Friday night soon, since summer's almost over for the live chats. But I'll see you Sunday night.